Truth to Power, a play within a play. Well, good morning. My name is Carolyn Lewis, and this YouTube presentation is in partial fulfillment of the Aspen University course RSH 916 Module 5 for Dr. Mankin. I'm excited to describe an action research project that I will be implementing in the next few weeks in the school division in which I work. The division is spread over a large landmass, and as such, there are 5 dedicated zones that house elementary, middle or junior high schools, and high schools. 5 years ago, as superintendent, I created a Superintendent's Youth Council to invite students to share their ideas and suggestions regarding school. The upcoming action research will actually be, as in the Shakespearean play Hamlet, a play within a play, or an action research project within an action research project. This is where students will be provided with a more precise process for addressing how schools and the school division can provide the best environment for secondary students. This work is based on a similar project carried out by Ozer et al. 2020. The problem that will be addressed is whether youth participatory action research, or YPAR, is an effective approach for students to inform school board policy and administrative procedures so they can address issues important to students in secondary schools. In Alberta, Canada, school trustees are responsible for policy development, and superintendents and their teams are responsible for the creation of administrative procedures. Board policy is the high-level roadmap for how the trustees govern a school division, and administrative procedures are the day-to-day guidelines for schools and central office. The goal that I hope to accomplish is to introduce YPAR to the high school students in my school division as a meaningful way for them to identify issues that students face. I hope to teach the students and their advisors about the action research process, and along with 2 central office colleagues, lead students from each of the 5 zones through an action research project to improve and address unmet student concerns, as well as improving the student experience in their schools. Students will engage in a process to identify a problem in each zone, and then, as per Stringer's 2014 research, begin a process of look, think, and act. Students will learn how to collect data, create surveys, conduct in-person student engagement sessions using key questions, carry out data analysis that includes identifying key themes and determining proposed solutions. Exciting work. My personal action research will include data collection, also through the use of surveys and in-person conversations with the YPAR groups, to gather information as to the student experience of leading a project with other students. My goal for the YPAR groups is to complete a cycle of action research over a period of 10 months that will be shared with me as the superintendent and the board of trustees. Ideally, there will be 5 recommendations made by the YPAR groups, which will be titled Speaking Truth to Power, How YPAR Can Influence School Division Decision Making. The obstacles that may emerge include the willingness to commit to the project, as well as the organizational skills required to complete an action research project. Sticking to timelines and process will be essential, as will participation in the training sessions for the central leaders, teachers, and students. Because the school division zones are separated by great distances, much of the training and discussions will have to take place through Google Meets, especially when the weather is treacherous. Between November and March. Ways to ameliorate the challenges will include a commitment to meeting dates, as well as an interesting and engaging instructional approach for all who are involved. Good planning is at the core of the success of this project. In addition, as the students will be using social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok, the teams will have to receive training to ensure they are used in an effective and appropriate manner. So lots of foundational instruction will be required. The solutions and interventions are nested within each project. My solution is to have the high school students bring forward 5 ideas to the Board of Trustees for how policy and administrative procedure should change or be recreated to better support students. For example, the board's number 1 priority identifies the importance of student learning. Students might want to clarify what evidence would support what student learning means to them and what evidence would support that students were successful. Presently, there is no administrative procedure that addresses student mental health, and this is likely an area where students could make suggestions and recommendations. For example, how could schools coming out of the COVID crisis support students to reignite their physical, spiritual, emotional, and cognitive wellness as they return to school in person and without a mask? The solution for the superintendent's action research is that YPAR becomes an essential means for informing all aspects of the school division's work, from the classroom to policy and administrative procedure. Too often, trustees and central office leaders forget that their primary role is to serve the students of the division and ensure they have outstanding learning opportunities that prepare them for the future ahead. If students are invited into the conversation, they will have a powerful opportunity to move the school division forward with a youth perspective at the forefront. Operationally, the plan will involve the superintendent introducing the action research process to the central leaders and school leadership teachers to lay the foundation of the project. Once that basic understanding has been provided, we can move forward. Through the professional development, the adults will learn how to lead their students through identifying a problem and then how to carry out the look, think, and act process, as well as the very important final steps of sharing the information to the Board of Trustees and central office leaders. The adults will also receive training in the use of social media, and in particular, Instagram and TikTok, to better support students share and effectively communicate their results. The success of both action research projects will be measured through survey questions posed to the students and also to the lead teachers and central office participants. The Board of Trustees will also be surveyed to establish their perspective of the process. The final determinant of the success of the project will be established by what administrative procedures and policy were created or revised to better address student needs. Thank you so much.